very good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the official launch press conference for a big night of boxing coming your way July 5th on DAZN right here from the AO Arena in Manchester. The return of Jack Catterall, who of course looks to bounce back to winning ways after defeat to Arnold Barboza Jr. early this year, up now at 147 pounds against the fighter looking to break through onto the world stage. They're calling this the acid test of Mr. Harlem Eubank. That is your main event. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing proudly present the Warrior Code July 5th live on DAZN. Today's press conference will be split into two halves before we hear from both sides of the main event. We are going to hear from the supporting cast, but just before we do that, as is customary in this sport, when we lose one of our own, it's very important that we just pause for a period of thought and a period of reflection. Very sadly, we all had the news last week that Georgia O'Connor, professional boxer, had passed away at the age of just 25. As much as she was a fighter in the ring, she was a true fighter, a true warrior outside of the ring, and it was her bravery and her courage which inspired so many around the world who read her story, but it was her character which made her loved by so many as well. And I think I speak on behalf of the whole boxing community of Matchroom and Wasserman who are here today, and DAZN. We send our love, our prayers, our condolences and all of our thoughts to all of the family, friends and all who knew and loved Georgia. May she rest in peace. Today then, as I say, we are here to launch a big night of boxing coming your way July 5th from right here in Manchester. And Eddie Hearn is in Japan. A big night for Sugar Nunes tomorrow night live on DAZN as he looks to become world champion. A big night on DAZN as well in Mexico, and a big night in the career of Khalil Ko, who has that rematch against Gallegos. So they brought in the B team today. Frank Smith. Well, no, I was speaking for myself, I think, but
you weren't calling me the B team.
No, myself, I think, and you.
Thank you. Cheers.
When we think about this supporting cast, Frank, Manchester's such a fantastic fighting city, and there's a lot of fighters on this card looking to become the flag bearer for boxing here in Manchester. There's fighting journeys just beginning as well when you look at young Leo Atang here as well this afternoon. When you look at the talent on display here, what is there to like and what makes this an important night for all of these guys as well?
100%. Look, we've had a great run in Manchester in recent times, obviously led by Jack Catterall. And years before that as well, you know, William Croller's brother Anthony Croller was the man who was selling out this arena back in the days as well. So it's exciting to be back in Manchester, a real fighting community, somewhere we love to come. As you say, the fighters up here, a lot of people who are going to look to become those stars of tomorrow. On the far left, obviously, Alfie's back out, a big ticket seller, someone Sam Jones has pushed very hard, wouldn't leave me alone about for many, many occasions. So excited to get Alfie back out on the card. Obviously, William Croller, who's on a tremendous run as well. As I said, the history of his brother, the nights that he's been involved in over the years, William will be looking to replicate that for his own times. You know, he's not far off from headlining a Next Gen show in his own right. He's back out here, obviously, July 5th. Pat Brown, someone we're very excited by. You know, he headlined in Altrincham just a few months back. He fights on June 21st in Birmingham, and the key is with the young fighters we've signed is activity. He's back out just 2 weeks after that here in Manchester. Huge support as well. He'll have well over 1,000 people here on the night, so excited to see him back out in the ring, of course. Leo Atang makes his professional debut. You know, someone we are truly, truly excited for. I'm excited for his first press conference appearance as well. You know, he's a big talker. He's got a huge future ahead of him. You know, for him, we're going to take it slow, build him the right way, but excited to get started with him. He's got everything that's needed. He's got the looks, he's got the ability, you know, and the skill is going to show. So excited for his professional debut. And then obviously, to my right and on the left as well, Akib Fiaz and Michael Gomez, a brilliant fight. A fight that we wanted to make for a long time. It's good to see Akib back. Activity is going to be key for him, but Michael, you know, it's going to be a big fight. A fight that a lot of people are going to tune in for. So excited for it. And obviously we'll come on to the main event in due course. Looks like we'll have another fight to announce by the end of this week for the card. So yeah, great to be back in Manchester. Huge night on DAZN, and excited to get started.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Well, let's hear from the most important people, of course, on the stage here this afternoon. That is, of course, the fighters, and we'll start, as Frank said, with young Alfie Middlemiss down there, 3-0, just 21 years of age, but it's been a good year so far for you, Alfie. Back-to-back shows in Manchester across Matchroom and Queensbury cards. You've been on screen, on stage, as an actor. This is a different stage, but how are you finding In terms of what you're learning about yourself and how you're handling the pressures of being a young professional boxer?
Just loving it, taking it all in my stride. 3-0 already and back on a massive card. What a great stage for me to go and showcase my skills, and yeah, I'm looking to put on a statement performance July 5th.
And training alongside Pat Brown, Jack Catterall, Fiaz, and we'll share the card with you, of course, with Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis. The gym's been on a good run, no doubt still high on the Dave Allen victory, of course, at the Copper Box just 10 days ago. But for a young fighter like yourself, what are you learning from all these guys day in, day out?
The gym's thriving at the minute, and I'm just soaking it up, being like a sponge in the gym. There's world-class fighters and fighters at different levels, so just enjoying it, learning as much as I can, and I'm going to put it in the ring July 5th and put on a great performance.
Great stuff. We look forward to seeing you, Alfie Middlemiss, back in the ring on July 5th, and we'll throw it down to the other end of the table there. Mr. William Croller. Will, listen, I will just say a quick trip to Bilbao last week. I thought you at least might have come back with a tan down there.
A red card for you, actually, red card.
I will just say, Will, this is a big moment for you in terms of your career. It's all about taking the step-ups at the right time. You banked 6 rounds last time out against Emmanuel Zion in what ended up being a really good test for you. Step up to 8 rounds now. Why is now the right time?
Like you say, last fight done me a world of good. He's a tough kid, him, and he'll upset the apple cart him a few times. You give him notice like he got for that, he'll upset the apple cart a few times. He's a good lad as well, but like you say, July 5th, another step up to 8 rounds, another good opponent in Fraser Wilkinson, and I think it's just a fight that really suits me. A fight you'll see the best of me in, and a fight I believe I'll take him out in.
What were you able to take from those 6 rounds last time out? You've been on an incredible knockout run, back to back to back first round knockouts, but when you weren't able to find the finish, what was the biggest positive?
No, it was different because in the first round everything was going to plan. I was landing big. I believe I hit him a few times in the first. I think he said that. He had a great chin, and it was different. I went back to the corner, and then to have him come back as well, it was just a great learning fight. I took loads from that fight, but I showed him come box on my back foot. I'm not just this one-trick pony who can blast people out with heavy hands. I boxed on the back foot, I was switching it nice, I mixed it up nice, and I believe it was a great performance, and one that set me in great stead for this next one.
And I have been told by the matchmaker, Mr. Tom Dallas, that we can announce your opponent, Fraser Wilkinson, 11-2 of Scotland, been a Scottish area champion as well. What do you know about him, and what excites you about this test?
He seems a fit lad. He comes for it, and he throws a lot. I believe stuff that benefits me in every department, and you'll see the best of me. I've always said it, when people come to try and beat me and stick it on me, you'll see the best of me, and July 5th, I turn up how I do a job on Fraser Wilkinson.
Great stuff. Look forward to seeing you back in the ring. Will Croller, 8-0 with 6 knockouts back in action here in his home city of Manchester on July the 5th. And as I was saying, these undercards are all about developing young fighters, and there's many young fighters here, as we said in the intro, who are looking to become the flag bearer for boxing in this part of the world. Their journeys continue on July 5th, but there's also journeys that are just beginning, and the professional journey of young Leo Atang, a former amateur world champion, begins here on July 5th. Leo, you just said when you walked up to the stage there, you went, here we go. We're finally here, massive smile on your face. How does it feel for you to be up here on stage, your first official press conference as a professional?
Yeah, it's something you watch as a kid growing up, seeing all the press conference all the way in, the fight nights, and now that I'm actually doing it, it's definitely becoming real.
Only 18 years of age. Why was now the right time for you to turn professional?
To make up for the loss of inactivity as an amateur. I wasn't going to be fighting for nearly over a year, and I just wanted to be in there, learn on the job, get the experience as I can, and eventually it'll all pay dividends in the future.
And in terms of the dream, it's the obvious question when a young fighter first turns professional, but what is the dream for you, Leo, in this mad old game of boxing?
I want to be heavyweight world champion one day.
And I'm just going to have a quick word here with Frank Smith. Frank, it's all about, you always talk about this, investing in the next gen. Why was Leo Atang a fighter that Matchroom wanted to sign?
Look, I think everyone was after Leo Atang. Every promoter in British boxing and in world boxing was interested in Leo. He's 18 years old. He needs time to develop, but we believe we can do that. We've done it before, and we can take him all the way. Like I said before, he's got every ability, all the strengths that are needed to get to the top of this sport. And we're excited to be part of that journey. And this is a journey that's going to last for the next 15 years. We've done it time and time again, and this will be another story in the Matchroom journey with a young fighter in Leo Atang that goes all the way. So excited to get started with him, and looking forward to July 5th.
It will promise then from you, Leo, for the fans, July 5th. What can we expect to see from you?
We're going to get him to promise the next 15 years.
Or that.
Yeah, I'm going to do that as well. But yeah, tune in for a good performance and a little knockout to finish.
Okay, well there you go, the professional debut of Leo Atang lands here in Manchester on July 5th. Now we love domestic grudge matches, and there seems to have been a grudge match that has really came out of nowhere. It's gained a bit of momentum on social media over the last few weeks, and that is of course Michael Gomez Jr. against Akib Fiaz. Akib, let me come to you first. You secured the stoppage last time out. You said you learnt a lot in that defeat to Reece Bellotti. When this fight was positioned to you, why was it one that you think made sense?
Yeah, obviously I feel like last time was a good performance out. I've matured so much since the Bellotti fight. I was only 23 at the time. Now is a bad time to be fighting me. I'm excited to get this fight, you know. I cannot wait for July, and I feel like he's made a mistake, you know. This is going to be a big performance, and I can't wait to get in there. I can't wait to show him that he's made a real bad mistake.
Well, let's bring in Michael Gomez. Michael, after the defeat to Reece Bellotti, I was looking at your social media, and you said you didn't know what quite went wrong, but the performance just wasn't there. And in the social text, you said, if this is the end of the road, that was your words. I just wonder what's changed for you, mindset-wise, to get back in the gym and secure this fight with Akib Fiaz.
It was a weird one, mate, when I just didn't turn up. No reasons why I just didn't turn up, and when there's no reasons for why you don't turn up, there's no answers. So then I said to my team, look, for me to get back in, it's got to be a big fight, and Manchester derby in Manchester, what more can you ask for?
Akib, there's been, as I said, a bit of back and forth between you and Michael on social media, a little bit about the weight. That seemed to be, from what we could see, a stumbling block in the fight, getting over the line. What are your thoughts on Michael and the energy that's coming your way?
Yeah, well, he wasn't taking the fight regardless a couple of weeks ago, no matter what weight it was. So then I put a little statement out there that I was moving up to 135 anyway, and then he said, oh, I'll take it at 130. So I said, you'll do as you're told. I'm not doing 130, we'll do it in the middle, and here we are.
Michael, give you the opportunity to respond to that one.
To be honest with you, mate, I didn't even hear half of that bollocks that comes out of his mouth. I don't listen to anything he says. I believe the fight was made for Eliminator. You know, the board released it as an Eliminator. Then it didn't. If they come back, said they couldn't make the weight, then it's like, well, I don't know to know weight. It's that made us know it's at a different weight. Simple as that.
What separates you and Akib Fiaz, in your opinion, and what will be the difference on July 5th?
To be honest with me, it's alright sitting there having this back and forth politics. I actually think it's a decent fight, to be fair. You know, he just likes to play up, but you know, it's going to come down to who wants it more. It's a fight where I think we both have to win. I think the loser is pretty much screwed. It's going to come down to who wants it more. And am I ready to let go of these big nights just yet? Absolutely not, mate. I think that's what's going to get me over the line.
Akib, do you follow that mindset as well? The pressure on to win this fight? How do you see it?
Of course, yeah. There's always pressure on to win every fight. I've got to win this fight, and I've got to look good in doing so to you know, get my name back out there with, you know, the likes of Bellotti, Garner, them guys. So a good performance here will put me in good stead for fights like that. Yeah.
Little prediction, Michael.
Not sure. Late stoppage.
And Akib, follow
There
it to you.
you go. He's not sure, so that says it all. You know, I'm going to go through him.
Okay, look forward to this
Please,
one.
please do. Please.
Okay, well, do look forward to this one as well then. Michael Gomez Jr. against Akib Fiaz coming your way on July 5th. And also, of course, it's the return of Patrick Brown. Pat, I must say, I think everyone in Altrincham felt nervous for you a couple of months ago. You walked out into a packed arena to make your professional debut. The brightest of lights were on you that night, but you came through it. I just wonder how you look back on it all now.
Yeah, it was a night to remember. It's what I dreamt of as a kid, and I go past the ice rink so many times a week, so I look there now in a different sort of optic. I used to go there skating as a kid and injuring myself, whereas now I look at there thinking, you know, over 1,000 people, and it was a night to remember. So yeah, brilliant.
And in terms of having a performance to look back on now, what's been the process for you and Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis in terms of watching it back, and what sort of things do you want to work on in this next one?
Well, I said I didn't want no one who's just going to tuck up and go down. And Grandoni, you know, he come to win. He wanted to rock the boat, and that's what we trained for. And yeah, the gym's thriving. Obviously, we've got a lot of the fighters in the stable now up here. Dave's come off a really good win against Fisher, And yeah, we're all just bouncing off each other, and we always train hard, no one's slacking, so nothing really changes in the gym, to be honest. They're not focusing on one thing, it's just keeping ready at all times, and yeah, having a bit of fun as well.
And in terms of yourself, a lot of activity already planned. How important is that for you at this stage of your career?
Yeah, it's what every fighter wants. They want activity. I'm not even really focused about this fight yet. Obviously, I've got the 21st of June in Birmingham, so I'm not really pumped up for this event at the moment because I've got to focus in on, you can't underestimate anyone. So whoever I'm fighting in Birmingham, you know, I need to be fully tunnel vision and get the job done, and then roll on to this one where, you know, I'll bring a big crowd and yeah, it will go off.
The debut was fun. In terms of the next outing then, in terms of your army of supporters who will be coming down, of course, firstly to Birmingham and then here to Manchester, do you have a little message for them?
Yeah, that just thanks everyone who's got tickets. I know I've sold quite a few for Birmingham already, and I know obviously this fight's been announced as well, so people are thinking, should I do both or should I just come Manchester? Just do what you want, honestly. Come to the Manchester one, that's going to be the main one when everyone's going to come. Obviously, I'm not writing off the Birmingham one, but yeah, whether you're watching at home or you're coming, I appreciate it, and yeah, I just want to put on some good fights and enjoy it.
I'd say do both, actually. Come to both.
You were making faces at me there, Frank.
I was hoping you'd say it, to be honest.
Well, that's your job, I think.
Well, in that case, then there is 2 coaches going down. I'm not going to say what people get up to on a coach and on a away day. The hooligans, you know, who watches the football. So, yeah, jump on the coach. I've got an Instagram page as well that you can get in touch with. So get in touch with that and join the fun ride, shall we say.
Nice save, Pat. Well done. Well done. Nice save. Frank Smith's happy, and that is the main thing. Well, that is your supporting cast. As I say, a big night of boxing coming your way on July 5th. We are going to pause now for some photos here at the front before we return very shortly for the main event press conference. Thank you very much. It's now time for the main event press conference. It's been a fantastic month of boxing on DAZN, particularly when you look at the domestic dust-ups we've all enjoyed recently. Take yourself back a month ago, of course, the drama at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with Eubank Jr. and Ben, Lee Wood and Anto Kakache. Then, of course, as we just spoke to Dave Allen there, reminded us of all the drama at the Copper Box in East London when Dave Allen beat Johnny Fisher. And then, of course, as recently as just last weekend, Josh Taylor and Echo Esserman. And I have no doubts that this fight on July 5th, a very important fight in the careers of both Jack Catterall and Harlem Eubank, will certainly follow suit in terms of excitement. Before we hear from the fighters, a busy top table here this afternoon. We are going to firstly hear from Mr. Frank Smith of Matchroom Boxing. Frank, we just spoke about it there on the stream. You represent Jack Catterall. This is Chance up at £147 now. A new chapter up against Harlem Eubank. Why does this fight make sense?
Well, I think it's a tremendous fight. I think, you know, as you said, domestic fights are what people buy into. It's the kind of fights that we need to make to keep the sport building in the UK. Obviously, great to be working with Nissa and Wasserman Boxing as always. You know, and when we spoke about this fight, you know, there was discussions between everyone about whether this was the right route to go, and within 2 or 3 days it was made. And, you know, that doesn't happen always in boxing, as we know. There's, you know, prolonged negotiations, but this was a fight both guys want, and it's a great fight for both guys. I think it's the perfect fight for both of them. Obviously, Jack coming off the back of the Barboza fight, if he gets the win here, it sets him up for a huge opportunity, obviously moving up to 147 as well. And obviously for Harlem as well, coming off the back of a great win against Tyrone McKenna. I'm excited for it. These are the kind of nights we need to make, like I say, to keep building the sport in the UK.
And this is, of course, Matchroom versus Wasserman that adds a little bit of spice into the mix as well. And joining us from Wasserman is Nissa Sowland. Nissa, make your case. We'll keep this straightforward because this is what the fans want to hear the answer to. Make your case for your man, Harlem Eubank. Some saying it might be too soon. Is this a step through too many levels at once? What's your argument to that debate?
Well, I think, you know, if I look at it, Jack has got it all to lose. Harlem is coming in here. It's his first world-class step up. You know, obviously he's coming off this great victory over Tyrone McKenna, looked $1 million. And where does he go? Do we do another McKenna fight, you know, around that level? Or do we go for the big boys like Jack Catterall? And props to both men, because I didn't expect Harlem to accept it so quickly. It's like, yeah, I'll do this. I feel like I'm going to win. And you know, Jack, if he loses, it's not the greatest position for him, coming off a couple of losses in a row. So you know, props to both guys for taking it. Harlem, you know, I believe he can go all the way, and you know, obviously Jack's in the way now, and I do think he has the skills to beat Jack. But look, like I said, I was comparing this actually to my driver on the way up. I see this as a bit of a Froch-Kessler fight. Two gentlemen, they're going to take it very, very serious. Two warriors, no trash talking needed. It's just it all in the fight, and I think the fight will sell itself. I do think Harlem will win, but I have to think Harlem would win. Otherwise, we're not going to be here at this table. Otherwise, we would have taken another McKenna fight, or McKenna-esque fight, to build up Harlem again. But the time is right for us. The time is right for Harlem. Charlie believes he's ready, so I've got to put my trust in the fighter.
Okay, thank you, Nissa. Let's hear from the managers of both fighters here on the table this afternoon. This bit might be quite fun, as it normally is when Mr. Sam Jones is in town. Sam, I could hear a few murmurs from this side of the room when Nissa was speaking there. What are your thoughts on this fight for your man at this stage of his career?
He's not lost 2 times in a row, what Nissa said. I think he needs to check box rec again.
I said if he loses to Harlem, he'll have lost 2 times.
A couple of losses. I think he said a couple of losses. If he didn't, my apologies, Nissa.
Okay.
I didn't get a driver here, by the way, everybody. I walked over from the hotel up the road.
Humble.
Yes. Before we go any further, Frank, whose side are you on?
Don't start on me, Sam.
Can you please answer the question, Frank? It's very important.
I'm on the side of making great fights. You know my dynamic in these fights.
Sam, you need to earn that badge that you're wearing. You haven't earned that.
Jamie Ward just said it's the B side. I'm happy to be the B-Tech sheriff today. Nissa's over there, the Timu Callis Island. And
Deputy Marshal, not sheriff.
Yeah, correct. I'm happy with being the B-Tech sheriff, but there's no sheriff arrived on that side of the table to look after you today. So I'm going to step in today. And be the sheriff at this table.
Why have you worn a badge?
What has he got on? I just
It's fine.
What do you make of this, Harlem, just quickly?
I wasn't finished then. I was just saying. By the way, this is a fantastic fight.
I'm just asking him why has he worn a badge? Like, it doesn't make sense.
It makes a lot of sense to me because again, there has to be some kind of sheriff, and I'm happy to be the deputy sheriff because again,
you're not the deputy sheriff. You haven't earned that position.
The deputy sheriff, I have earned that position. He's not here today for you. I'm really disappointed. No one's managed to get Senior here. I was really looking forward to meet him, to be honest with you.
Senior,
but we're gonna have to make do. We're gonna have to make do with what's on your table.
He's a national treasure. He's not here to debate promoters or people.
I came in peace today. I came in real peace. But again, I feel just a side full of not disbelief. If I'm honest with you, like the colours.
Not asking what is the badge about because everyone's trying to figure it out.
We love the badge. You
haven't earned it.
I have. Amazon gave it to me. Thank you.
Okay.
Send it back.
Okay. Sam,
Yes.
let's talk about the fight.
Yes, brilliant.
That's what we're here to talk about today. Look, Jack, as Nissa was saying,
Yeah.
fell short against Arnold Barbosa Jr. last time out, moves up here to 147.
Correct.
Why does he beat Harlem Eubank, in your opinion?
Listen, first of all, it really is a brilliant fight. And what I was saying the other day is we want to give people fights that the British public care about. And the British public will care about this fight. It's a domestic fight. They're the best fighters. And credit, before Harlem started chirping up there, credit to Harlem for taking the fight because it's a big step up for him. It's a monumental step up for him. I don't believe he's going to be ready for the task. I think it's going to be all too much for him. But I respect him nonetheless. They both, Jack as well, Jack and Harlem both have a responsibility to make this a good fight. Because we don't want to see someone burgle a win and after listen, Harlem's just watched his cousin take part in one of the best fights I have ever seen. So he's under immense pressure as well. Of course, Jack is because he's fought at the higher level, but they both have a responsibility to the British public to give them a cracker of a fight, and that is what's going to happen. I'm certain of it.
Okay, well, let's throw it down to the opposing management team. Down here, Jamie Conlon, here with us this afternoon. Jamie, when this fight was put on the table. What excited you and what excited Harlem most, do you think?
First and foremost, it's good to be here. Had a dentist appointment booked for today to get a tooth extraction, but now I get to see Sam Jones in a Monaco in the sheriff's badge, so brilliant day. But the fight, it's been a fight Harlem's actually been asking for a while. Jack has been to the top. It's a massive opportunity to test himself. I think it's the hardest fight you could pick in the division, in Britain especially. He's stylistically something that's unique to Harlem. Southpaw puncher with both hands, moves, doesn't come, but I think has a lot of pressure on the lane for Jack because he's coming off a big loss to Barbosa. Back-to-back losses are hard on the career, but it's a fantastic fight. I think that's where you'll see the best Jack Catterall and we'll see the best Harlem Eubank. Massive opportunity for Harlem to really get into the world stage, to put his name in the big lights and put his name into the big fights. Momentum on him side, Brighton really building something, especially with Channel 5 and Wasserman. I agree with Sam. I think it's a fantastic fight, fantastic clash of styles, and a fantastic where they are in the trajectory of their career.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Let's hear from the training teams and another Jamie down there at the end of the table, Mr. Jamie Moore. Jamie, they say in this game it's how you come back from defeat that defines you. I just wonder, in terms of what you've seen in the gym, behind the scenes, the mindset of this man, Jack Catterall, since that fight with Barbosa, what have you seen to believe that he can get back on track and do it in style on July 5th?
I've said this loads of times about Jack. His work ethic and his commitment to the sport is like something I've never seen. And as you would expect, after your first loss, he had a good rest. He needed a good rest because that was the most active he'd been for years at a very high level, and two of those camps was extended, which meant that there was longer than you would want. So there was a little bit of fatigue then. I feel like the rest has done him the world of good because he's come back in the gym, he's back sparring, and after the first couple of weeks, his timing and his sharpness was like I've never seen it before. So you can see the rest has done him good, and his attitude has always been bulletproof in terms of you've never been able to sort of dissuade him or sidetrack him. He's always been that one-track mind type of fighter. It's like I've never seen it now because he's had that little setback and he wants to prove himself. So this is, like as Sam was saying, it's not an easy fight, but at 31 years old, coming into his peak years, he doesn't want to be looking backwards and getting an easier fight. People have questioned whether Harlem is going to be able to take this step up, but at some point in your career you have to take that step up and you either sink or swim, and it doesn't matter whether he's world class or not as far as I'm concerned, because my belief is in Jack Catterall. So if he is a world class fighter, then fair play to him, but in my opinion Jack Catterall will still beat him because he's too good.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Let's hear from Charlie B. Charlie, trainer of course of Harlem Eubank. Good to see you, Charlie, once again. It's been a little while, but in terms of this fight, in terms of that word potential, what do you believe this man has in the locker that we're about to see on July 5th?
How you doing, everyone? First, if you don't mind, just like to, on all of us, send my thoughts and prayers to all the people of Liverpool for the tragic event happened yesterday. This fight, this is a great fight for Harlem. Both of these young men, I think, should be commended for the way that they conduct themselves in and out of the ring. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. I just believe Harlem's got the speed, the power, the tenacity to beat Jack Catterall.
Okay, well, let's hear from both sides of the main event then. Firstly to Mr. Jack Catterall. Jack, here we go, a new chapter, up at 147 pounds. I guess the obvious question is, why the move up in weight right now?
No, first of all, thank you for all coming today. And yeah, 147 pounds, so I find myself in a position now where I can make 140. Obviously, the natural step would be to go to 147, but it's got to be the right fights. The right fights come at 140 in the future, then we'll consider that. But me and Harlem spoke before. I think he was only fighting at 140 2-3 fights ago, and when he got proposed at welterweight, didn't do me a favour.
Fight 33 for you here on July 5th, headlining once again in Manchester. What makes this one, though, an important fight in the story of Jack Catterall?
You know what, it's a blessing and a privilege to be able to come back to Manchester and headline, so thank you DAZN and Matchroom Boxing for that. I find myself in a position where kind of my back's against the wall, coming off of the feet. I've been working on myself since the fight. I took myself to America to do a lot of sparring, come home and knuckled down to training, but it's an opportunity. So when the phone rang and they presented Harlem, it was a yes. It's always been a yes. I've never turned down any fights. But what excites me about this fight is the domestic fights. They're the fights that throughout my career where I've probably performed at my best, and the pressure's on, but I think I thrive under the pressure. And coming off of the feet, it's I've got to go in there, I've got to perform and put it on and prove that I do belong at this level.
Okay, well, let's hear from Harlem Eubank. Harlem, good to see you, welcome. In terms of what's on the line for you in this fight, people talking about this as being the acid test. We're going to find out exactly how good Harlem Eubank is on July 5th. But in your own words, what do you believe this fight represents in your story? Same as I just asked Jack.
This is the opportunity that I've been training for since I came into the sport. You know, I come in because I wanted to become world champion. And Jack is a world-class operator. He's proven it time and time again. And now is my opportunity to go in there and, you know, show people I'm ready to win a world title. And Jack is the type of fighter I need to overcome to fulfill my ambitions in the sport. And you know, we're prepared, we're ready. You know, we know how good Jack is. This fight isn't about how good Jack is. This is about how good I am, and I'm ready to show the world.
One word you keep using, Harlem, which I've seen in the build-up, is the word timing. What impact do you think that word timing has on this fight?
This is the time the fight was meant to happen. You know, I believe that Jack is in the best form of his life. He's just coming off defeat at the highest level. And as he said, he's taken himself out to America. We're going to see the best version of Jack Catterall in there on July 5th. And that's the man that I'm ready to overcome, you know, and put on a display and win in emphatic fashion. You know. I've heard a lot that, you know, they don't know how good I am. You know, it's still to be determined. Every time I step up, you know, when I stepped up to European level against two-time former European champion Timo Schwarzkopf, I'm the first man to take him out, and the only man. And, you know, that's a former opposition of Jack as well. Every time I step up, it brings the best out of me, and this will be no different.
Jack, Harlem says emphatic fashion. In your own words, Jack, what do you believe separates Jack Catterall? What makes you different from the 21 men that Harlem has faced so far?
Yeah, I think when he touched on a couple of the opponents that we've shared in the past, we're talking about fighters that I beat way over 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. These are the fights that he's had recently. But that being said, he's a hungry, determined fighter, and he's in a position where I found myself a few years ago, chomping at the bit for an opportunity to break onto that stage and fight for world titles. So, but that kind of gives me the motivation to double down and train extra hard, because he wants to come and have it, and I ain't letting him have it.
And for yourself, Harlem, the Eubank name flying right now. I just wonder how motivating it is for you to maintain that Eubank supremacy that we've seen of late in the ring.
Yeah, we've seen it. You know, we've seen Junior dominate. You know, a 4-point clear victory, you know, against the other kid. Eubank supremacy. You know, the name's right up there, and I'm ready to go in there now at world level. You know, because Jack, he's proven at world level. I'm ready to go in there at world level and let the name reign supreme.
We are going to get a little prediction then from both guys. Jack, I know you're not really one for trash talk, one for predictions, but there's some good energy coming your way here. How do you see this fight unfolding and ultimately yourself winning?
Yeah, I don't think we need trash talk. We're both in a position where we're going to do anything to win. I believe the experience, the skill set, the time and the speed, the power is going to be too much for Harlem. He's going to tell you otherwise, and that's why it's exciting. It's a domestic fight we can all get behind, and we're going to settle it in the ring July the 5th. I'm going to be victorious.
Okay, final word to you then, Harlem Eubank. How do you beat Jack Catterall July 5th? Tell the world.
We know how good he is, but I'm ready to show the world how good I am. And July 5th, that's what we're going to see.
Okay, well that's your main event then, July 5th, live here from the AO Arena in Manchester. The Warrior Code, Jack Catterall versus Harlem Eubank, a domestic dust-up to certainly look forward to, with world title ambitions on the line for both men as well down the line. We are going to pose now for the heads-to-heads. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you again on DAZN very soon. Thank you.